Alright, it says we're live. What's up, YouTube? Welcome to episode 1 of my Factorio playthrough. This is actually a continuation of my Sunday stream yesterday. Or technically, I guess, be 2 days ago. Sunday, obviously. Where we started playing Factorio there. This is modded with Angel's mods and Bob's mods. Great mods. They really add a massive amount of content to the game. So we're going to continue where we left off there. So, let's see. So we ended up getting to... We got the lab built. So we got the greenhouse researched. We can't really build it because of everything else that we need to do with it. So our first step is going to be working towards coal processing so we can get carbon, so we can end up with filter inserters, which is really going to help us automate. So it's like we are going to need 100 science pack level 1s. So what I'm actually going to do is we're going to make some automation to get this done. Now to make it, we just need to make an iron gear wheel, combine that with a copper plate. So we're actually going to make 2 of these facilities. One there. Cross it over. One there. Alrighty. Now, because of how this has to be set up, we are actually going to run 2 separate belts to feed this. So first one we are going to need to craft is an iron gear wheel. It's going to be the iron plates. Second one should be, yep, there we go, iron gear wheel and copper plates. So we're going to have copper come right here, go under, and come over here. So let's see, how do we want to do this? Unfortunately for right now, we are still, stuck running this main system. Okay, so that's how we're going to do this. Alright. Okay, so we only need 1 belt, which is good. We're going to make 5 more belts. We're going to dump it here for the steel. And we're going to have it pull here, drop in here for the copper. And this is all going to dump into a chest for our science packs. Now, obviously, this does take resources to actually produce something of this nature. However, I'm actually going to run this from the side. Yes, I'm aware. High disk usage. Okay, so we're going to do another 5. This does actually take a fair bit of resources. Unfortunately, there's just not so much I can do about the extreme resource usage. Except for that. Okay, so now we got steel, copper. Looks like I'm going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 basic inserters, and that is going to be our steel that we need. And another thing I'm going to do to help us maintain production is I am actually going to come down here to our larger starting field of sapphirite. Still isn't a great field. I do actually need to find, let's see. It's only 183 there. There's 493 over here. So we're actually going to come over here to the more dense location. And what we're going to do here is we are actually going to run 2 of these. And we are going to set this up so that they both feed onto one belt. We can really heavily load this belt. And unfortunately, it does look like we are going to be running out of steel here very quickly. So that's how we're going to get across the pipe. Just bring this over, hook it in. Speaking of which, so I need a few more. 5 there. Okay, now let's get these at least set up. So those are going to dump over to here. What are we looking at on production? Okay. Now that that's configured, this will run me out of steel, but it'll get me fairly close to being able to just dump material over onto... We're actually going to run this over, underbelly it, kick it over right here. It's going to grind in here, go into there, and for now we're going to have to manually insert it here. So, one more of those. Now these are the slowest belts that we have available right now. Unfortunately, it's just going to be too expensive resource-wise to try and add more to this. There we go. So, once we get the power down there, I'm just going to come here and where was it? Logistics. Okay, as you can see, we have power down here now. The green bar over in this pop-up section that disappears, that's how much power we actually are producing. That will actually go into the yellow and into the red if we're overloading our system. So this is going to help us maintain the speed of production. So at this point, I need a bunch more copper. Okay, so we are hurting for copper. That is a thing. And the copper is hurting for coal. So we're going to bring coal over. With some extra belts and bring it right back here. Awesome. And a basic splitter, and since this is coal, we're going to use a burner inserter for this. So, not what I wanted to do. Okay, so now we're going to be splitting off some coal. Get another burner inserter for up here. And that way we can maintain coal into both machines. This one can continue producing. And eventually this will actually send its production over to here. Eventually. We are not at that stage yet, unfortunately. We are still in the prep stage. So need 1, 2 more. Okay. And we're going to have this box right there, and 1 more. Awesome. So now we're going to need few more light poles, well, power poles, so, excuse me. So I'll get those powered, those ones, and that one, and then there we go. So we are now going to automate our production of science packs once this catches up with the copper. And as you can see, we have a ton of inbound we got a bunch of inbound material to grind, so that's actually going to help us maintain the grinding speed. One thing I am going to do, so I am actually going to replace these burner inserters with a single electric. This does add to our electric utilization, but the benefit here is that this moves significantly faster and we'll be able to pull out ore significantly faster, which we are going to need if we are going to maintain production over here on the science packs, because we need 100 science packs just to get to coal coke. And over here I am actually going to automate the removal. We're going to do a steel chest over here. Put that right there. And main reason I'm automating this is to keep this clear so that it constantly produces. We are actually going to end up ramping up production in the not too distant future. But for obvious reasons, we are limited on what we are able to do. Okay. So with that done, let's couple crushers. And those crushers are going to be for over here. Nope. I need it over here. So these crushers are actually going to be, one of them will be right here, like that, and the other one will be over here, with a couple of electric inserters. Now, because I haven't listed any recipes, it's not going to start, which is good because I need to come over to the coal and I need to grab a couple stacks of coal. And I can't crush the ore, so we're going to pause that, and we're just going to craft some furnaces, get us some much needed basic resources. And it looks like, yep, rubite, and it all has to be crushed. So that's a shame. Well, that's going to be mechanical refining, which is only 20 research packs. It's not too horrible. We've had worse. And we already have those 20. So 20 research packs, and let's get mechanical refining going. And get this processing area complete. I do apologize for the lag during the autosave. That is a bit of a bummer. Okay, Rubite, you need to go back in there. So what we are going to do is this little guy, and we're going to do this guy right here, and then they're going to drop down, and we're going to have each of the furnaces right in the same general area. Now I can't give those any sort of fuel until I have the appropriate recipe, which will be when the research is done. But I can at least prep some of this stuff, because we are going to need a lot of tin and a lot of solder, which requires a lot of lead. Okay, we're starting to get some production going here. This is good. Mechanical refining will let us expand this a bit further. And we have to have mechanical refining in order to do lead, in order to do some of the other stuff that we need. So realistically, what we're dealing with here is just a bunch of grind to get to the point where we can automate the basics. Once the basics are automated, we can expand that and start going out further for some of our resources, like right up here. We have oil, which is something we are going to need quite a bit of. And then further out also you can see more ores. And this whole black area, that's actually more map with more resources. So what's probably going to end up happening is this area here is going to be for central ore processing eventually. And that's going to really allow us to ramp up production of our various ores, because we need a lot of them. And I do mean a lot. Now another thing I'm going to do is I am going to grab some of that. I do want to craft a bit more in the way of labs. So the thing with labs, you can actually increase the speed of the research if you have multiple labs. And once we get into 50 or 100 once we get into the 50 or 100 cost on the research, we're going to need multiple to get them done in any reasonable amount of time. So that is going to end up being very critical that we do that. Okay, so there's the secondary lab. Now, mechanical refining is almost done, so I'm not really going to be moving half of this over because I can't. See, mechanical refining is done. So next up that we need, automation's done. So we are going to need electronics, because that's going to let us do solder and solder plates. Now, the basic electronics components, that's going to be the problem, because we need a bunch of those for the board. And that's where the carbon comes in. So next step, we are going to research electronics. But we're going to do that. 15 there, and the other 15 there. Now we're going to get this going, and they're, as you can see, they're both working. And the speed up here, it still seems slow. I mean, it does have 15 packs each, but this is actually moving twice as fast as if it was just a single lab. So once we get that done, we have 100 more for the basic chemistry. And don't really need wood processing at the moment, or steel processing. But metallurgy will start becoming very useful with metallurgy, ore processing. All of that will be incredibly useful as time moves on. With that said, our priority here is actually going to be to start automating as much as we can here. Because once this is automated and we're producing enough in the way of ores and plates, then we can focus on some of the more advanced stuff. So right now the plates is just too demanding. We have to spend all of our time dealing with it. And we're going to come up here, and this is rubite. Okay. Rubite's going to get processed. And bobmonium. Now, I don't know where crotinium is. That's kind of a new one that wasn't in there before. And givolite or whatever it is. Again, that's one I didn't have before. So let's get these going. And these crushers I will actually be switching over to burner ore, just regular ore crushers, which are electric instead of mechanical. Now another thing I'm going to do, simply because we have so much of it, is we are going to build a couple stone furnaces. These couple stone furnaces, we're going to put them right here. We're going to run a couple electric inserters. We already have our two burner inserters for our coal. But these will eventually be running our stone, which I don't have the steel for, but that... Okay, so we got that. And I do not have the steel to split off some coal over to these. So we're producing quite a bit of steel-based materials, which is good. And as you can see, we have electronics almost completed, and then we'll be moving on to the next. Okay. I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to have it... yeah, I'm going to split it there. And we still need some more. Yay, electronics is done. So let's work on basic chemistry, which needs 50. How many do we have? Yeah, 33. Okay, so what I'm going to do... so I'm going to put 25 in here. And once we have 25 more in here, put that in, and then we'll get the next stage researched. Downside is I do have to take steel, or iron, sorry. I don't know why I keep calling that steel. Really, game? Ugh. Freaking MSI, man. As much as I love the power of this computer, some of the bloatware included with it is just absolutely insane. Okay, awesome. Okay, so the coal production is now rapidly moving over to here. We're going to start seeing some stone produced because, let's see, where was it that I needed the stone for? So the ore crusher takes 15 stone brick, which has to be made using the furnace and burning the stone. 60 stone brick for the ore sorting facility, which is actually going to help us combine these two ores over here, the sapphirite and the stereotyte, and really we'll only need to use one or two, or one of the ores to actually produce both ores. And that's really going to help us. But my priority is actually getting us to being able to automate things. Speaking of automation, let's actually go start smelting some tin and lead. Ah, that's right. That has that problem. Okay, so we're going to need to... See, we have filter inserter, but there's just so much that we don't have able to work at the moment. So we are going to craft a wooden crate here, a wooden crate for the other one. That way hopefully all of this can just maintain its movement. Okay. And I need more steel, or iron. Lots of grind. So normally I try to keep my weekday episodes a little bit shorter, but because we are kind of in a holiday, darn, looks like I'm going to have to research that. Yep, okay. So this will need to be relocated one away, and then this right there, and we will need a little bit more power. Well, power wire anyway. Ah! There we go. Now it's working the way I wanted. So now that we got 20 crushed bobmonium, let's get some tin. The tin really doesn't take a whole lot. It's primarily over here with the lead that we are going to need a fair bit of the lead. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. 25 in there. Let's start getting basic chemistry researched. Okay. Plenty of that. Copper's just not producing quite as much as I would like. Not too big of a deal at the moment because this will be electrically mined soon. But right now the priority has to be basic chemistry. We now have 92 there. So it is... Ah, it's the stone that I need. Well, I can work with that. Ah, there's why. Okay. Since I only have 21 plates at the moment, okay. Let's get these ore crushers figured out here. Okay, so we got 24 lead. What do I need? Where is it? Okay, so solder plate is lead plates and tin plates. So let's see how many tin plates we got so far. Only 6. Wow. We got 200 crushed bobmonium. Okay. So, we're going to need some solder plates. We need some resin, and that requires us to use an assembly machine, which requires, you guessed it, more iron. And our processing is going to get a lot more complicated here very quickly. Just because once we get everything else set up, we're actually going to need to split. We're going to run... Honestly, I haven't quite figured out how many burner ore crushers I'm going to need to run. Or how many ore crushers I'm going to need to run for every ore sorter. So I need 18 copper and 84 and 60 stone brick. $100 in there and 93 in there. Okay. What's our copper looking like? We are running out. Alright. I am going to steal some of this copper here, because I need some for this. Okay, so we're going to craft our resin right in line down here. So with that said, we are going to need to start producing silicon to make glass. And that is going to end up being very important. I just can't remember which one gave me silicon. Okay, bobmonium gives me silicone. So this is where I'm going to need to start sorting, grabbing some of that silicon, making some glass. Because once I can produce the glass, I can run the greenhouse, and fairly routinely I should be able to make a routine source of wood, which is actually really going to help out with the production of, well, wood and resin. And let's see, so resin requires raw wood. So we got tinned copper wire, which requires copper and tin. And then we got solder, which is resin and solder plates. So 15 raw wood is made from seedlings and water. Seedlings is made from raw wood. Ooh, metallurgy casting. Actually, sorry, petrochemical. So we are going to need to create made in the electrolyzer for hydrogen and oxygen. For dioxide, though, it's the other one. Okay, so we're going to need a liquefier, which we are going to have to put down here. Now I'm actually going to put this way down here. So CO2 requires coal input. So actually, I'm not going to put it down there. Since it requires coal input, this is actually going to go right here. It's going to output, come over here. It's going to output a pipe, come over. And then that's where the second part of this comes in. Okay. Sweet. Okay, so now we can get the second half of getting to carbon, because we do need to make coke. Just crushed coal. So 2 crushed coal makes 2 coke, which we can then combine to make carbon. So I need one of these. Just pick up, drop off. Now, again, this is another mod. We are going to be producing this. Stop texting, you people. Okay. So it's now produced 100 carbon dioxide. And at some point I am actually going to disable this, but for right now, so now it's going to fill the pipe before it fills itself. And now the pipe is full. Awesome. So we are currently well on our way to being able to produce some of the material that we need to produce. And with that, we are almost ready for coal production. Still need 40 more iron plates to be able to continue that. Okay, so we got drop you off like that. And then we're going to come over here to the bobmonium. Okay. So to make the pieces that I need... Okay. So I have to use a metal mixing furnace. Not really the direction I wanted to go, but we can work with that. Okay. Okay. So we're going to take half, and see how many solder plates we get out of it. And the other thing we are going to need for this is tinned copper wire. I'm just going to make 10 of them for right now. Now this is also going to require some solder. So, let's see. Carbon and some more resin. Okay. Now, let's see. Shoot, I need more copper. Okay, so that's enough copper. I need a little bit of wood, and I need a lot more of that. Okay. Alrighty, guys. So, all I gotta do is chop down a few trees. It'll give me enough lumber to start sorting out some mucho needed silicon, and then we can start, hopefully, producing wood. There we go. Coal processing is done. So, regular furnace to make coke out of crushed carbon, which is a crusher, because of course it is. Now what I'm going to do here is that, and we are going to tell this crush bobmonium ore. Now this one's electric, which is useful. Okay, so let us sort bobmonium and get some silicone. So glass is, let's see, where's glass? How do I produce glass? Glass, I believe, will be a standard smelting recipe. Yep, there we go. So now we're going to get some glass and we can actually build the greenhouse as well. Awesome, 6 glass. Okay, let's build this greenhouse. We'll put the greenhouse down here so we can just, I hope. Okay, and we want... So, 10 seedling, 20 water, 15 raw wood. Okay, so this is going to be an interesting setup. So I need to provide it with water. Okay, so we are going to run this right here. Give it a little bit of water. Ooh. How are we looking on electrical? Alright. So we're going to give it some water. And we are going to craft some saplings with it, I do believe. So we're going to put this here. So what we're going to end up doing is we're actually going to run a split. Yeah, we're going to do a splitter. Okay. Okay, so this sequence should allow us to craft seedlings. Oh! Okay. So, I just realized a mistake I made in setting this up. So the seedlings need to go up here. The splitter will go right there. And come around and connect over here. So seedlings, wood. So I need more copper. And then, so Coke is going to be a furnace. Carbon is made in a liquefier. Okay, so I'm going to need crushed coal. And from crushed coal, I need to burn it to make coke. So coal, crushed coal, coke, and coke will get shipped all the way back over here for another liquefier, which is more copper. Okay, so this is going to be producing carbon. So I'm going to need one there. And we're going to do this. Man. Okay, so we're almost there. Just need a little bit more iron. And then this will be producing carbon. And then we can combine the carbon and all of that here into basic electronics components, basic electronic board, and start actually filtering out what we need and what we don't need, which will really help us take off on the automation for the iron, which will help us with everything else. The other thing we need is to finish this up. Okay. So, we got that. This is going to craft, where do we go? Seedlings from raw wood from seedlings. Thought. Ah, okay. So we're gonna do that. Raw wood from seedlings. Ah! This thing is so confusing how to set up. So this is actually my first time setting up the greenhouse. So it's going to create raw wood. I'm going to split it here. Grab it from there, drop off there. Okay, there we go. And this is going to make seedlings, which is then going to be moved like that. And I need more copper, more wood. So there's my wood, here's my copper. Okay, and I should allow it to continuously produce wood. Because so long as this section is full, it's going to send the wood down here for the resin. And I can't do a splitter right this moment. Okay, so now that we got that squared away, let's handle this. Crushed coal, coal coke. And we're going to limit it with a box. So the nice thing about setting up these boxes is they are actually a useful way to limit how much of something is actually being made. I got some carbon. I need another one of these. So we're going to put that there. I'm going to craft these, that and that. Let's see how many we can produce. Okay, so with that going, I once again need a ton of copper. Ton of copper. See the theme here, guys? It takes so much copper to do any of this stuff, it's not even funny. And as for resin, we're going to limit it with the same function, a wooden box. Hey, we can start building filter inserters now. Good. Okay. Start really ramping up production of those. Okay, so this should create somewhat of an infinite wood creation loop. And now I need to focus on, I'm going to do this, that. So now we're going to split the amber production. We are going to reduce amber production this way, but long term it's actually going to be necessary to do it this way because we really need to ramp up massively our copper production. So we are actually going to run this until it runs out, and then put one there and put the other one next to it. In fact, I'm going to do that and that. Now the reason I did it this way is actually fairly simple. With this, we're actually going to be relocating a lot of this stuff here. So one of the things we're actually going to be doing is bringing over and we're going to use this area for our crushing. And we are going to end up doing 2 ore crushers, which currently requires more iron plates. Now with this, we are currently still going to be running some split off stuff for right now. So, put that there. And I need to make one more. Okay, so those are going to get the output from here. Ah! Okay. So in preparation for this, yes, I am using a ton of resources to set this up. This is crucial. Okay, our pathway is set up. Okay, so the ore crushers are now set up to just absolutely mangle those ores. We don't need copper for those ores any further. Okay. So with those made, what are we looking at for filter inserters? It's copper production. That's what's killing us. So, yep, copper. So I'm going to come down here, take all of that copper, okay, and the filter inserter is going to let us actually keep what we want coming out of it, so that what we don't want stays away. Because believe me, we only want the copper coming out of this. We do not want the stone out of this. Well, we will want the stone, just not right now. So all the stone's going to come up here. Probably going to build the ore sorting facility, which need a lot more stone brick. Ton more. Need a ton of resources. So what I'm going to do for right now is set up this, and this is everything we can build. Obviously, that's not something that we are currently prepared for. But we're going to run the crushed sapphirite. And we're just going to run crushed sapphirite for right now. So coal production is getting a little thin, mainly because we have one that cannot produce. So that we can fix that. Okay. First things first, though, we do need to get a lot more iron. Only 6 amber, huh? Slow production. So I primarily like to use coal for coal generation, because coal's always there, power's always there, it's self-sufficient. I will almost always have coal. Unlike down here, where because of this coke production, which hopefully, is going to be a bit before that peters out. So what are we held back on here? It's entirely the copper. So what we're going to do here is stereotype. And down here, we're going to start really ramping up okay, so with that there, I'm going to do underground 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so then we're going to do an underground. Wait, what? Oh, that's a very short path. Okay, you are doing nothing down there, so but you're still needed there. Okay, so we're actually going to adjust your path. And we are going to have to relocate you. And you are going to turn there. Okay. So apparently these more basic ones don't have the same length of underground that I'm used to being able to have. Which kind of sucks, but it's should be expected. What? Oh, don't tell me. Shoot. Okay, well, looks like I gotta move things down. All of this down by 1. There we go. We have power again. So now I need those two. So this isn't the most efficient way to do production, but right now it's kind of what I got. Sometimes you just gotta make do. And I need a couple more copper in order to do that. Okay. Now that we got some of that, we are going to smelt it. Because I need 2 of these, which means I need 14 copper. We're getting there. Now I need 15 copper. So these are going to be the crushed stone, crushed stone. It's going to be heaven when I can start upgrading these paths. Guess I need 3 more iron to do that. Shoot. And I need copper. So we're actually going to turn that off. Because I need to do that. The crushed stone will all end up coming into a silo right here. Which, speaking of silos, that just lets me do ferrous and cupric. Which lets me do iron and some red one that I'm not familiar with. Advanced ore refining would be good. Seed extractor, Interesting. I'll have to do some more looking into that. Fluid controls. Okay, that would be a good one. Water treatment lets me create various waters. Chemical processing. Chemical furnace lets me create cobalt, lithium. Nothing I really need there. Those would be useful. That's just faster belts. Slag processing. More advanced slag processing methods. Advanced ore, circuit, character, tool belt, research. Ah, there we go. Ore silos, which needs steel to make the ore silos. Okay. So we're a fair bit out from that. So that'll send it over here. And we are actually going to run 3 furnaces. Okay. Alright, folks, so we've been going on about 3 times longer than I really intended for this episode. So, we'll continue this in a pre-recorded episode off and on for the week. I'm going to be trading this out. It's going to be this and Minecraft every other day. So, tomorrow will be a Minecraft episode. The day after will be a Factorio episode. If you want to see more Factorio, leave it in the comments once this thing becomes a video on demand rather than a live stream. And if you liked it, hit that like button. If you want to see more of this, hit that subscribe button. Really helps me grow the channel. And I will see you guys in the next episode.